Depp versus Heard, the entertainment trial of the century.
In the sea.
More into this. Take a look.
In Mr. Depp's 58 years, not a single woman has ever accused him of violence. And nobody in Hollywood or the world had any reason to believe he was an abuser until Ms. Heard publicly accused him in 2016. You're also going to hear evidence about Ms. Heard. You're going to learn that she's a profoundly troubled person who manipulates the people around her just like she manipulated Mr. Depp.
And we just might see some of that manipulation in this video, as I take a look and analyze Miss Heard's body language, and in this video, focusing on all the writing that she has done, and I'll be going over many reasons why she might be writing so much.
Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard first met in 2009 on the set of the film The Rum Diaries. There was a significant age difference between them, and at first, he avoided her advances, but she pursued him. She wooed him. The evidence will show that Ms. Heard went to great lengths to win him over by playing the doting girlfriend.
Wow, I think the Depp team has figured her out.
And it worked. He fell head over heels in love with her. Those who watched this relationship develop saw red flags all over the place. And over time, the real Ms. Heard began to emerge.
And one more time.
She would berate him.
She just keeps glancing down and back up. What is that? Now, as you watch the next segment, just see if anything seems out of the normal or unusual.
Well, you will hear expert testimony that none of these photographs are the originals. Not one. And many are stored in an editing program. So they could have been manipulated and cannot be confirmed as authentic. Importantly, you will not see a single photograph of the vast majority of the abuse alleged by Ms. Heard. The only medical report of an injury during their relationship was a severe one, and it was sustained by Mr. Depp. After an argument shortly after their marriage, while the couple was in Australia, you will hear evidence that the people who cared about Mr. Depp were encouraging him to have a prenuptial agreement.
And when you're writing, you can't be paying attention to what's being said. So, what is she writing then, if she is not paying attention to much? Okay, right here is the psychologist that spent 12 hours with Miss Heard, and she's talking about that.
And on the 17th, we spent a little more than 8 hours in the evaluation from start to finish.
As a result of the work that you performed, did you form any opinions with respect to Ms. Heard?
I did.
What were those opinions?
The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses.
And before we get to the irony of these diagnoses, isn't it strange that she's writing through the entire question the lawyer's asking and then continuing through the answer? And it doesn't even look like she's writing at this point. It looks like she is doodling, drawing pictures. Now that could be because she doesn't want to hear what they're talking about. And there are certain people who want to deny that they have any kind of a problem, so she could just be ignoring this. And those people often have the following psychological conditions.
The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
What is a diagnosis?
A diagnosis is a way that we essentially, psychologists, psychiatrists, anybody in the mental health field, thinks about a disorder. It helps us to communicate a set of symptoms.
She's writing most of the time, but then she looks up, just looking up twice. You know, why would you be acting like, why would this be normal? And I'm saying it's not, that she's just putting on an act, and it's not a good one. It's see-through. Here it looks like she's just distracting herself from hearing all these things.
It tells other professionals a lot about how those symptoms might have developed, how that person might behave, perceive the world. It also drives treatment. The real purpose is to determine what sort of interventions will be most effective for the person.
What I can say for sure is a little known fact that lawyers suggest to their clients to write notes during the trial. There are many benefits to this. Besides just writing notes about what you want to say when you get on the stand, she's doing more than that. Other benefits are it makes the jury think you have a rebuttal to what's being said, and that what's being said is wrong. As the jury's listening to it, that's a good technique. It also intimidates your opponent, and it also makes you look like you care about the case, which is important to the jury. In this case, I think some of it is to distract herself from getting angry and showing anger, because we know she has a problem with that. So she could be just writing a shopping list or playing hangman. Here's a unique situation where Johnny Depp is on the stand, but they're taking some kind of pause, and at one point he quickly glances over in her direction as some kind of reaction, and then kind of looks back in that direction as he's kind of smiling and seems to be partly covering it up. Also, you can hear my reaction watching it for the first time. Gonna turn up the speed for this. And check this out. It looks like she's writing her book.
Personalities are pretty clear to you. A personality disorder is some sort of dysfunction in those enduring traits. So as opposed to other types of mental illness, when you think about something like depression, that's episodic. It comes and it goes, and when it's treated with medication, it can pretty much be completely mitigated or minimized in a person's life, and their personality is still there, separate from the depression. When we have a personality disorder, there are going to be disturbances in several different areas that are visible in almost all different facets of their life.
Is there a manner in which personality disorders are commonly diagnosed?
Yes, so they can be diagnosed in a treating environment. A treating psychologist or a therapist or a psychiatrist simply does a diagnostic interview, which involves assessing multiple areas of a person's history back down through
I'm going
childhood.
to stop you for a second.
Yes.
What's a treating environment?
Sometimes I'll slip into these words, I apologize. So a treating environment, in therapy, if somebody's going in for treatment, the mental health provider will ask them questions to find out what sort of symptoms they've experienced and what sort of things have occurred in their life that might be consistent with these disorders, or rule out these disorders, prove that there's no reason for these disorders to be considered. They might also pay attention to their observations of the client over time and new information the client provides them. The most reliable way, however, to ever come about a diagnosis really is through a comprehensive psychological assessment. And I might use the words assessment, examination, testing interchangeably. They all.
Another thing that came up a few days ago, the judge found out that Amber was writing tweets. See, she can't use her cell phone. No one's allowed to use a cell phone in court. But she was writing these messages and handing them to one of her lawyers behind her. And that lawyer passed it to some woman that was sitting in the guest section. That woman turns out to be Amber's new girlfriend, Eve Barlow. She took the messages and tweeted them out on her phone, and that's against the rules, and so she got kicked out by the judge.
These disorders to be considered. They might also
I think
pay
here
attention
she
to
is
their
trying to look
observations
normal.
of the client over time and new information the client provides them. The most reliable way, however, to ever come about a diagnosis really is through a comprehensive psychological assessment.
And now I'd like to add some value to this video. If there's one thing we can all learn from this, it's to not end up like Amber Heard. Don't go on a vegan diet just so you can undereat, so you can be thin, but you end up feeling crappy and tired, who has to drink red wine all the time and take drugs just to feel okay, but you still end up a psycho bitch. Do veganism the right way. Eat my carburetor diet. Hey everybody, this is the freaking high fruit vegan lifestyle. Although I know not to rely on anecdotes, in this case it's okay to use myself, because I personally know how good this diet works, because I've been doing it for 27 years, and it allows me to just eat all I want and never be hungry, never have done any drugs, and I've never gained any fat. So, thumbs up, share, watch all my other videos on this trial, and subscribe to the carburetor diet.